Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Oh, the sweet, sweet irony. Hunter Biden's plea deal fell apart, and now his defense team is arguing for his gun charge to be dismissed on 2A grounds. I have to assume that would upset his daddy a great deal if he still remembers how much he hates the Constitution.
You know, the Second Amendment didn't say you can own any gun, you can own any weapon. You couldn't own a cannon when the Second Amendment was passed. You couldn't, anyway.
Or who his son is. Biden is an admitted and documented crack smoker, and having indulged in the spicy Parmesan during a period when he purchased a handgun, that makes him a prohibited possessor. It also means he lied on question 21F of the ATF Form 4473, which everyone has to complete when buying a gun from a dealer. Biden's legal team argued he cannot be charged for lying on the 4473 because the government cannot prohibit crackheads from buying guns. Because persons protected by the Second Amendment can no longer be denied gun ownership due simply to past drug use, any false statement by Mr. Biden concerning his status as having used a controlled substance no longer concerns any fact material to the lawfulness of the sale of a firearm. Biden's defense cites the Bruin Supreme Court precedent as well as the recent U.S. versus Daniels decision in the Fifth Circuit, which held that a marijuana user could not be denied his Second Amendment rights based on past drug use. The Firearms Policy Coalition offered to assist in the case, but so far as I know, Biden's legal team has not accepted the offer yet. It would be impossible, though, for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by TNVC.com, your source for bespoke, artisanal, non-GMO night vision products expertly forged by Amish craftsmen in the old world style.
Hey friend, it's dark half the time on this planet. Unless you got magic powers or a mountain of carrots, you need TNVC to see at night.
And by Vault Pro, proudly manufacturing the finest American-made safes, vault doors, safe rooms, and storm shelters. When you buy from Vault Pro, your safety, security, and privacy is their only priority. And by Primary Weapon Systems, PWS is now offering their advanced BDE suppressors in 4 caliber options: 7.62, 9mm, 22, and 5.56. These suppressors offer revolutionary sound control, all while remaining lightweight and tough. Easy to clean, easy to install, easy to maintain, these suppressors will make shooting even better than it was before. The Undetectable Firearms Act should be expiring soon. It's an annoying little piece of gun control passed back in the 80s based on misinformation and fear-mongering.
Pulled a Glock 7 on me, you know what that is?
It's supposed to stop criminals from sneaking guns past metal detectors, but if it didn't exist at all, that's still not really something people could do for any number of reasons. For example, guns need metal in parts like barrels and springs and, bullets. And even if you could make a gun or ammo that could pass through a metal detector, it still wouldn't pass through modern detection methods such as millimeter wave scanners. But it requires that any new gun be at least as detectable as a security exemplar containing at least 3.7 ounces of stainless steel. The feds get to make that exemplar. That's not a particularly onerous requirement, but it does stifle innovation, and more insidiously, it offers a roundabout way for the feds to ban guns by redefining what major components of a firearm are, just as they tried to do with frames and receivers. The Undetectable Firearms Act is set to expire in February, and the control freaks tried to sneak reauthorization into the Defense Reauthorization Act, but gun rights groups such as the GOA managed to get it removed in the House. That doesn't mean it's completely dead, though.
Mostly dead.
The control freaks could try to revive it by sneaking it into any other piece of legislation before the expiration date. So be alert. And it wouldn't hurt to call your politicritters at 202-224-3121 and tell them to oppose it. Big Blue is being sued by some of their own shareholders for making scary black rifles. A group of woke nuns are suing because they claim the company exposed shareholders to liability by intentionally violating federal, state, and local laws, and because they didn't cave to other activist lawsuits. These rifles serve no purpose other than mass murder, said said the Uber Karens in a prepared statement. Lucky for them, they won't have to address that ridiculous claim in court or explain why we allow police to have them if that's true, or explain why more people are killed with bare fists than ARs, or explain why nuns are breaking their oaths of poverty by owning stock. But they will need to explain exactly what laws they claim Smith & Wesson have violated. According to Reuters, this sort of lawsuit is rarely successful. And if they do win, the damages assessed against the directors will be paid to, wait for it, Smith & Wesson. That's right. Even if they win, they get nothing.
You get nothing.
So why are they doing this? If they win, they get nothing, and if they lose, they have to pay Big Blue's legal costs. There might be more to it than just lawfare harassment. It's likely the real purpose is this is a fishing expedition to dig up some sort of dirt in the discovery process. Kamala Harris is pressuring states to pass new state-level draconian gun control, including red flag laws, universal gun registration, salty boy bans, and safe storage laws. While it might seem to make sense at first glance to require people to lock up their guns when not in use, these laws are always extreme and ignore the fact that we all have different needs. Yes, you should secure guns if they are not under your direct control. But for my family, that means my loaded handgun stays on my hip if I'm wearing pants. Yes, I'm wearing pants. And all other guns stay in the safe, unlocked, until we leave. If my wife and I will both be out of the house, or if we have certain guests over, we lock the safe. But my kids are well trained in firearm safety. What works for our family doesn't necessarily work for others. Safe storage laws are often so extreme they're ignored altogether, and it's impossible to enforce them. They're also very difficult to comply with if you own a long gun and travel in an RV. Instead of requiring all guns be unloaded and locked up separate from ammunition, making them useless for defense, why not encourage people to use inexpensive, mechanical push-button lockboxes? They are reliable, quick to open, prevent access to children, and even offer a small degree of protection from burglars if you cable it to something sturdy like a bed frame. What do you folks think? How do you lock up your guns? Is it responsible to leave guns unsecured even if you live alone? Comment below. And now, for your moment of Zen. Hey friends, do you like pews and other pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure, uncut American pew propaganda at the low price of $3.99? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.